What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikaPikaPapa, and I'm so excited to share with you 10 of my favorite cards under $10 right now. Now, there's a couple things that I love about this video. First and foremost, just the research that goes into it is so much fun for me. I look at sets from all kinds of different eras. I get to look at all kinds of cool cardboard. The reality is there is an infinite number of cards that could have made this list, so trying to narrow it down is a ton of fun for me. And then this is a video which is a direct reflection of a subscriber's comment. Like a subscriber out there said, hey, PikaPikaPapa, you did a 10 under 10 and a 5 under 5 video not long ago, and I found a lot of value in it. Could you do it again? So I thought, abso-freaking-lutely, and here we are today. And also, I'm working on that 5 under 5 video, so I'm gonna get that out to you as well. Now, I started putting together my 10 under 10, but I thought, shouldn't we start with the old 10 under 10? Like, shouldn't we see how the first 10 performed before we start picking the new 10? And it's not because we want to decide how right or how wrong were we. It's not because we want to talk about how smart or how dumb we are. Like, what I want to do is I want to learn. Like, that's the whole point of this channel. I want to make sure all of us are always at our Pokemon collecting and investing bests. And the way we do that is by taking the things we've done in the past and learn from them. So these are the 10 cards that were on my original 10 under 10 list, and this is how they've all performed so far. You see, we've got 6 in the green and we've got 4 in the red. So when we talk about things that we missed on the Mew VMAX, we missed on the Pikachu VMAX, right? And we didn't know Lost Origin was going to get restocked, and I don't know if that's the driver of this or not. It certainly didn't help, but the Mew is down 5% and that Pikachu VMAX is down 14%. And then I am going to talk about this later on in the video, but I am a big fan of like XY, black and white era. I think they're flying really under the radar right now. And this Pikachu Black Star promo from XY era also missed the mark. It's down 8%. Now, I will say some of these cards from the XY era, I think you have to give them a year, 2 years, 3 years to flush out. Not everything on this list is destined to be a 2, 3, 5 month up 20% like we see in some of these cards video. Like, that's not what this is about. These are great cards under $10 that I believe in for the long run because I'm a long-term collector, right? Then you look at the Shining Legends cards, right? I had those 2 Mewtwo's from Shining Legends, and the funny thing was the one that's down, the full art version, is the one that I was most bullish on. I was like, I think this artwork is better. I'm a big fan of it. Shining Legends was on a lot of pressure. The Elite Trainer boxes were downward and the right for most of the year, so I thought it was a great time to get in on Shining Legends. And guess what? For one, it was. For the regular GX, that's up 27% since we did the video, but the full art, the one that I stood here and said, I think this is my favorite one, is actually down 6%. So, well, I guess we're batting 50% for Shining Legends Mewtwo's. But I will say that the one that went up 27%, and the one that went down only went down 6%. So then you get the Espeon up there, right? Like, I am a big fan of Sun and Moon base set. I know it was printed into Oblivion, and I know that there's a lot out there, but I do think that there's a lot of cards, and I even think the sealed booster boxes are flying under the radar. And this card rewarded us with a 45% gain over the last couple months. Then we get into the Skyla card. I've been talking about this card since the inception of this channel. I've been such a big fan of it. I think it checks all the boxes. At the time of the last video, it was at $9.13 for a 10 under 10 video. Now it's all the way up to $16.28, increasing in value by 78% over that time. Then you get to the Charizard V-Star from Brilliant Stars. At that point, we were talking about how bullish we were on Brilliant Stars. Is Brilliant Stars going to be the number 2 set in the Sword and Shield era? And even with the restock, the V-Star Charizard still performed well and gave us an 8% return over the last couple months. Aroma Lady, I absolutely freaking love Aroma Lady. I still love Aroma Lady at $13. Evolving Skies is the big chase set in Sword and Shield. There's no question about it. Aroma Lady is the highest priced full art trainer in that set. So if you think that that set is going to follow any of the previous trends where a full art trainer ends up somewhere in the top 15, top 10, top 5 cards in the long run, Aroma Lady at $13 is an absolute steal. And then this Rayquaza, right? Like, one of the things that we called out was when we did this video last time, Rayquaza was on fire on the PSA grading videos. Like, Rayquaza started to show up on the top graded Pokemon. We saw some Rayquaza cards that were getting graded a lot. Like, there was a lot of indicators to tell us that the overall hobby was taking a lot of interest in Rayquaza. And guess what? We put this on the list, even though it was a touch over $10, and it rewarded us with a 26% gain. So again, the whole point of showing you how the cards performed before was so we can take some learnings and layer them into the new 10 that we're just about to talk about. Now, before we get into that, if this kind of stuff gets you excited, listen, we do fun, crazy stuff like this all the time on the PikiPikaPapa channel, so I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. Questions or comments, drop them down below, and if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. Those 3 small things go a long way in helping out my small channel, so I appreciate you. All right, everybody, let's get into the 10 under 10 that I'm chasing right now, and this Umbreon GX checks so many different boxes for me. Now, On the left-hand side, you'll see that's the TCG player price for the box that it comes out of, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you can find the box on eBay anywhere from $150 to $200. Now, even with the premium on the box that much, this card is selling for around $10. Now, a couple things that I wanna call out. I think the people who are buying those boxes right now aren't ripping them for the cards inside. I think those are buy and hold collectors. I think there's a distinct possibility that a lot of these cards that are already in the market are the bulk of the cards we will see, right? Like, I don't see a lot of these just flushing into the market over time. And Umbreon is another Pokemon that has been on absolute fire as of late. So when we talk about cards with momentum, when we talk about Pokemon with momentum, think about the Jolteon, the Vaporeon, the Flareon premium collection card boxes right now. Like, those cards are all going for $20, $30, $35 a piece. This card, I think, is going to be more scarce. I think this card is older, which always has some value into it. I think that the sealed product is worth even more. And the fact that you can get this in the $10 range right now is absolutely crazy. So that's why I led off with this one. I am a big believer in this Black Star promo Umbreon from Sword and Shield. Now, no surprise, right? We saw some of our biggest gains in full art trainers from the last 10 under 10. So I took a over aggressive position in full art trainers under $10 right now, but I want to make sure that we also talk about the why behind them. You can't just say, well, because this full art trainer is under $10, I think that's the one to pick. Like this Shauna from Fusion Strike, look at the Fusion Strike booster box price. Fusion Strike booster box price has been on fire as of late. I have been a huge fan of Fusion Strike for a long time. It is my sneaky pick as a possible top 4, top 5 set in the whole Sword and Shield era. And this card doesn't even crack the top 15. Now, we've talked about it in all of our data dives and all of our research looking at Sun and Moon. We know that a lot of the times a full art trainer makes it into the top 15, top 10, top 5 in a lot of cases in Sun and Moon. So this card, it's cute, it's engaging. Like, I could totally see this card eventually getting into the top 10. And one cool thing about this was on my 5 under 5 video that I did a couple months ago. So super excited to see her graduate from the 5 under 5 up into the 10 under 10. I am going to continue to stick with you, Shauna. I believe in you. And I think you have nothing but upside. Now, speaking of believing in, I'm going to continue to believe in Fusion Strike and talk about the Elisa Sparkle from that set as well. So again, I am a big believer in Fusion Strike. I also think Elisa Sparkle right now is getting some organic growth just from that Crown Zenith card that it has. I know whenever I search for the Elisa Sparkle from Crown Zenith, this card always pops up and I feel like it's just subliminally like etched into my brain. So guess what? I bought a couple of them and I'm super happy with them. They're stunning cards. I think the Shauna or this Elisa Sparkle or both will end up in the top 15, top 10 for Fusion Strike in the long run. So I absolutely love this card. I am absolutely happy to have this in my collection, and I think that this is going to be one when we look back in a couple months and see how these cards perform. I think this is going to be the one that we're really, really happy about. Now, with that being said too, I told you I like XY. I think a lot of XY black and white things are flying under the radar, and I also like cards that are starting to show a lot of macro level momentum from those PSA grading card videos that we do every single month. And no Pokemon is gaining more momentum right now than Giratina. Giratina has rocketed up the list. The top 8 Pokemon graded at PSA over the last 8 months has remained the same until this month we saw Giratina pop on up there. And that is why I always say it's so important to look at this macro level information when we are making decisions here in this Pokemon space. So I love this card. I think the artwork is absolutely awesome. You can get it between $7 to $10 right now on eBay. There's some high quality copies out there. Pay a little more for it, but again, I never mind paying a premium for a very minty copy. I think this is a card where you're not going to see it pop up over, you know, a span of a couple months. Like, I don't think we'll do a review of this video in 3 or 4 months and see a green bar next to it. It'll be flat or maybe even a little bit down. I don't know. But I think in the 3, 5, 10 year beyond time horizon, I think this card is going to do really well. And I think, again, in the $7 to $10 range, absolute steal for this beautiful piece of cardboard. Now, full art trainer again, we got Nessa trainer gallery card from Lost Origin. We all love Lost Origin, right? This is a card that, again, I think it's getting a little bit of pressure because of those restocks from the Lost Origin booster box. You can see the booster box was all the way up in the 160 range, then it came down right into the 140 run, but that is great because what do? Listen, be greedy when others are fearful, be fearful when others are greedy. So if everybody's running away from it and you have strong convictions, if you think that it's going to be a great buy and hold product, be the first one in line to pick it up, right? Now, these are selling for right around $8 on eBay right now. There's some amazing artwork. You can get some really cool, really minty copies of this out there. And I think this is an absolute steal. And I do believe this is going to be one of the top cards in the long run in that Lost Origin set. And as always, the other one, Lady and Nessa are shoulder and shoulder. The reason I wanted to include this Lady card is because I love it when we look at the Pokemon pop and flop, I want to see how high the pop was. In the last slide, you saw the Nessa. That came out at as high as $20. This one was as high as $70 at one point, and it wasn't just one sale, right? So this tracks all of the sales on eBay and TCG Player, and you'll see that it was as high as 70, 65, there were sales in the 50, and of course it worked its way back down. But all that does is that kind of tells me that, hey, at one point people valued this card at a premium over to that Nessa. Now, obviously right now they're neck and neck. Who knows who's going to win in the long run? But this card checks a lot of boxes for me. I think it's an amazing piece of artwork. I think it reminds me of some of the Sun and Moon era type cards. It's kind of softer on the eyes. You know, it's just wearing a bonnet and all that stuff. I don't know. I think this card has the possibility to do really well. I'm excited to have this on the list, and I'm excited to see where it goes in the long run. Now, this Arceus is a bit of a reach for me, but when I told you I enjoy doing the research for this, when I told you that I enjoy finding cards that are new to me and exciting to me, this was one of the ones that I found, and this is the Arceus Prism Star from Forbidden Light. Now, Forbidden Light got pummeled most of the year, but if you look what's happening, right? People realize that, hey, Sun and Moon booster boxes are worth a lot of money, and as this one was funneling down, people finally said, okay, listen, this is the support line, this is where we're gonna get in, this is where we're gonna buy, and that price is starting to come right back up. Now, Prism Star cards were something I wasn't overly aware of before I started doing the research into this video, but as far as I can see, there's only 28 different Prism Star cards in the entire US population, and it is spread across 6 different sets, and Arceus is another Pokemon that has been on absolute fire on that grading report as of late. This is an $8 card, and I think that not only is it a really cool card from a really cool Pokemon, but I think there's upside in the fact that there will be collectors out there who want to collect all of the Prism Star cards, right? And I think that that's going to lead to long-term value, and it's going to lead to long-term collector interest. And when you're looking at cards like that, that's really what you want. You want to make sure that further down the road, people are going to still have a reason to buy and collect and sell these cards. And so this might be a bit of a reach. Again, another card that I don't think is going to pop off like crazy when we go ahead and do a rewind video, but I do think that this one has a lot of legs in the very long run. Now, Full Art Trainer, Shining Legends. I told you we were going to come back to Shining Legends. This Pokemon Breeder is another former card from a 5 under 5 list, and this thing has been on absolute freaking fire as of late. Even though Shining Legends has been dropping like a rock from an Elite Trainer box standpoint, look at the price on this. The raw cards on eBay are flat, but that orange line, which represents the TCG Player price, has just been steady up and to the right. And listen, Pokemon Breeder, you look like a cowgirl. I'm sure you got a horse. I'm going to ride that horse all the way to profitability because I think this card has a lot of room to grow. Now, just because the ETB has had a rough time certainly doesn't mean that the individual cards in it are going to do the same. So I am a big fan of Pokemon Breeder, and I think this card checks a lot of the same boxes, right, that the Skyla card did earlier when we were looking at it. Now, again, I'm bringing it back. I'm not giving up on my Mewtwo from Shining Legends, okay? Again, it's been rough, you know, it's down a little bit over the last couple months, but I still think that Shining Legends is going to do some kind of comeback, right? Like, I think that the booster box or the Elite Trainer boxes here are going to do exactly what we saw in Forbidden Light earlier, right? Forbidden Light got beaten up for like almost a year, and then it hit a point where the market said, hey, this price is too low, we are going to buy, and I think Shining Legends is going to do the same thing. The Elite Trainer boxes are going to continue to come down. I don't think we're near the bottom. I think it's going to continue to fall, but then people are going to get interested in it again. Again, these are awesome Pokemon, awesome cardboards, awesome art. You can buy this for $8. I think this is an absolute freaking steal right here. And this card, I wanted to end with this because this is the biggest reach out of all of them. So this is the Blastoise Cracked Ice from Heart Gold Soul Silver, and it is a promo card. It is in the $10 range on eBay right now, and I think this card is absolutely stunning, honestly. I love that it's from the Heart Gold Soul Silver era. I love that it's a Black Star promo. I love that it's $10. When the market starts to rotate, if it does start to look, I think that this checks a lot of the boxes that people will be interested in collecting, right? Those Cracked Ice cards, I've got a Charizard one behind me right over here. It is really, really impressive to hold in your hand. And when it rotates out, I could see this is obviously Blastoise has a huge name. It's always one of the most popular graded Pokemon. And this card might be flying a little bit under the radar. And again, I just want to say this isn't something that's going to pop up overnight, but when I talk about my long-term collection, something I want to hand down to my kids or something that I want to do, I don't know, something really special with kind of in my twilight years, this is a card that I could see being a real big performer in regards to that. So with that being said, listen everybody, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys made it all the way to the end and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. If you have questions or comments, drop them down below, and if you like what you saw, give us a thumbs up. I'm gonna get to work on that 5 under 5 video, and I'll have it out for you shortly. You guys have an epic one. Thank you as always. Bye.